Welcome back to Wired to Be Rich, everybody. I'm your host, Manda Lea, strategist, storyteller, podcaster, and the mind behind this entire brand built on one simple truth, that you can design your life on purpose. If you're new here, this is the space where we merge mindset with movement, energy with execution, and self-awareness with real-world strategy. I created this platform because I got tired of watching people play small and honestly tired of seeing potential wasted on fear. If you've been here for a while, you already know the vibe. You've watched me build, pivot, rebuild, rebrand, expand, from career shifts to creative launches to the quiet chapters that nobody else sees. I've built teams, led projects, and learned firsthand what it takes to build something sustainable, not just aesthetic. I am so proud of what Wired to Be Rich has become, y'all. We have hit thousands of plays across platforms, grown a loyal audience, and turned raw conversation into real transformation. But even with all of that, this next era is different. It's sharper. It's louder in clarity, but quieter in the chaos, because this show isn't just about getting rich, although we do like money, right? It's more so about getting real with ourselves. It's about emotional intelligence, self-definition, boundaries, confidence, and learning how to move like the version of you that already has it all figured out. So whether you've been here since the early days or you just found me scrolling at 2 a.m., welcome. You are in the right place, because today's episode is about the shift that changes everything. The shift that happens when you actually stop caring. And I'm not talking about the I'm over it, quote unquote kind, not the passive aggressive, like whatever, shrug your shoulders kind. The real kind, y'all, where your peace finally speaks louder than your ego, where you stop auditioning, stop explaining, and stop waiting to be understood. And when that happens, life starts moving differently. So let's jump into today's episode.
She's not just a podcast host. She's a movement.
Manda Lea is teaching people how to break cycles and build real wealth, mentally, financially, and spiritually.
People all over the world are waking up to her message.
Wired to Be Rich isn't just a podcast. It's a mindset shift.
She makes you believe again in yourself, in your power, and your ability to actually have the life you always known was meant for you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Manda Lea, entrepreneur, speaker, and founder of Balance and Destiny, and this is Wired to Be Rich. Let's be real, y'all. Everyone has that moment where they realize they were trying way too hard to make someone see them. You know, that mental loop where you think, if I just explain it one more time, or if I just show up differently, if I just love harder, they'll finally get it. And that's ego talking, y'all. That's the part of you that's still hoping to be understood by someone who's committed to misunderstanding you. At some point, I realized this, that you have to stop chasing clarity from people who can't even be honest with themselves, okay? You stop rehearsing your worth in conversations that were never meant to validate you. You realize that if you have to convince someone to see your value, they were never ready to witness it. I am learning that firsthand. And what's wild is that when you stop fighting to be seen, you start seeing everything clearly. You start noticing the tone, the comments, the subtle shade. You start realizing that some people actually dislike you, you know? And for the ones that don't actually dislike you, they just don't like how sure of yourself you are. They don't like that your peace makes their chaos loud. They don't like that your confidence exposes where they've settled. And that's when you stop taking it personally. It's not about you being too much. It's about them not being enough for themselves. Because when someone can't meet you where you are, it's not rejection, it's redirection. Life is rerouting your energy away from people who drain it and towards spaces that can hold it. So let them talk. Let people assume. Let them believe whatever narrative helps them sleep at night. Don't defend yourself. Don't explain. Don't edit who you are, because real peace doesn't argue. It just observes. And the most freeing moment is when you realize you don't need closure from anyone who couldn't handle your openness to begin with. You just walk away softer, wiser, lighter, whatever you embody at that moment. And that's the real flex. The art of not giving a F isn't about being numb. I want to make that very clear. It's about being selective. It's realizing that every time you over-explain, over-text, or over-analyze, You're spending emotional rent on a property that you don't even live in anymore. That don't make sense. And at some point, you look around at all the energy that you've handed out like samples at Costco, and you think, why am I financing chaos when I could be funding peace, my peace? And the truth is, when you really stop giving a F, it doesn't look dramatic. It looks like ignoring the message instead of drafting a paragraph, right? It looks like walking away mid-argument because you already know how it ends. It looks like prioritizing a night of silence over a conversation that's going to leave you drained. And it's not petty either. It's literally premium pricing for who you are. Everybody loves to say that they're unbothered until it's time to actually not be bothered. Detachment takes discipline, y'all. It means you don't feed the group chat with the latest screenshot. You don't stalk their story. You don't chase closure that won't fix anything. You let the dust settle and keep your hands clean. And the wild part is that the minute that you stop performing this quote unquote unbothered act, you actually become it. People feel the shift. They can't bait you anymore. Like, rage baiting. People love to rage bait. It's fun, but not really, right? And they can't get the same reaction. Suddenly, they're left arguing with silence, and silence always wins. Real IDGAF energy isn't loud. And for those who don't know what IDGAF means, it's I don't give a F. That isn't loud. It's smooth. It's walking into a room knowing that you're the calmest person there because you're not fighting for attention. You already have presence. It's the kind of peace that makes other people nervous because they can't tell if you're done or if you just don't care anymore. And honestly, you don't feel like clarifying the difference because it's a little bit of both. That's the new luxury, y'all. Internal quiet, external confidence. You don't need to prove anything. You just don't need to post a quote about boundaries either. You just live in a way that says, I'm good whether you get it or not. Because not giving an F isn't about losing emotion. Absolutely not. It's about keeping your power. And once you know how good that feels, you're never going to go back. But here's what nobody tells you. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you expect. Wanting is begging. It's giving homeless energy. Expecting is embodiment, right? The game changes when you stop hoping that something happens and start mentally living like it already did. This is like the number one key to manifestation. And if so many people are saying this exact same thing, y'all, we're not all just saying this for funsies. It actually works, right? The second that you do that, your life starts catching on and rearranging itself to match your energy. The calls start coming in, the timing lines up, opportunities start showing up, people show up, and everyone is sitting there calling it luck while you're just sitting there thinking like, no, I just finally stopped acting like it wasn't already mine, because it is. It's already yours. It's already tethered to your timeline. Whatever it is that you want in life, that's what detachment actually is. It's not pretending that you don't care. It's refusing to obsess. It's realizing that the thing you want isn't running away from you. It's literally waiting for you to stop gripping it so hard. And when you stop forcing timelines, you stop blocking flow. That's when you become magnetic within yourself. And this part is crazy because when you really get that, you stop asking, well, when is it going to happen? Because that question doesn't even make sense anymore. You start thinking it's already mine. I'm just kept catching up to it. You're already a millionaire. You're just catching up to that. You're already a published author. You're just catching up to that. You've already hit 7 figures. You're just catching up to that. That mindset pulls opportunities into your orbit that used to take months to find you. It's like life suddenly recognizes your face in the crowd, y'all. And when you expect the best, your behavior naturally shifts too. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. Your standards get higher. Your tolerance gets lower. You start editing your environment like your dream life's already watching. And that's not delusion, y'all. It's literally direction. The more you live from that energy, the faster things align. It's not magic, it's math. What you feed grows. What you focus on multiplies. What you assume to be true starts organizing itself around you. That's why I always say your thoughts are the blueprint. Your energy is the permit. When you stop treating your dream like one day scenarios and start treating them like coordinates, your life can't help but sync up. Your energy turns into evidence. And it's wild to think about this, but Wired to Be Rich is coming up on its 1-year anniversary also this December, y'all. I was sitting here writing this episode and I was like, wait, It's already going to be November, and I launched this podcast December 18th, 2024. I'm coming up on a year. And when I first recorded my very first episode, I wasn't thinking about numbers or strategy. I was just trying to get through one of the craziest chapters of my life. One of the craziest years of my life. This show started as therapy for me, honestly. I needed a place to speak freely, to unpack the thoughts I couldn't say out loud anywhere else. And it was never about going viral or being perfect. It was about being real. And now here we are. Over 1,200 listeners since that first episode, y'all. 1,200. 1,200 people who've joined this ride, who've grown with me, who tune in because they connect to the mindset and the energy. That alone blows my mind. It has become something way bigger than I have ever imagined, y'all. When what started as me talking to my mic in my living room has turned into a community, a brand, and a growing movement around alignment, confidence, and clarity. In this show, we don't pretend like we have it all put together. We are literally walking this thing called life and learning as we go. And I'm so happy that y'all have joined me on this ride. The feedback, the DMs, the energy, it is real, y'all. It's expanding and I can feel it catching fire. So mark this down because for the 1-year anniversary this December, I'm planning something massive. I'm going to do a full circle special episode, something that celebrates the growth, the chaos, and the magic that came from just showing up and speaking my truth. And to the brands, producers, networks paying attention, this is just the beginning. Wired to be Rich isn't a side project. It's the next big thing in modern mindset media. It's personal development without the filter. It's wealth consciousness with a real world edge. And it's led by someone who's not afraid to talk about what people actually think, not just what they're supposed to say. If you're a brand that aligns with my bold, authentic storytelling, this is the space. If you're a network looking for a voice that bridges intellect and entertainment, well, this is it. The audience is growing, the reach is scaling, and the vision is clear. Wired to be Rich isn't coming. It's here, y'all. And I'm just getting started. All right, that's it for today's episode of Wired to be Rich. If you're still here, it's because something in this hit. You felt it, and that means that you're a part of this energy now. This isn't just a podcast anymore. It's a shift. It's the reminder that you're allowed to outgrow what doesn't serve you and still move with peace. It's the space for people who are done performing, done chasing, and ready to live like every day they've been asking for is already theirs. So before you log off, make sure you're following wherever you're listening. Share this episode with someone who's in their becoming era, their bloom season, because that's how this message moves. And keep your eyes open. The 1-year anniversary is coming up in December, and I'm dropping something major to celebrate it. Something that's going to change how you see yourself, your energy, and your potential. To every single person who's been here since the beginning, the late nights, the voice notes, the DMs, the feedback, I see you and I appreciate you. You're a part of the reason that this has grown past 1,200 listeners and counting since the start of this podcast. So take this with you. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You just need alignment. Your peace is your power. Your clarity is your currency, and your confidence is the loudest statement that you will ever make. You're wired to be rich in every sense of the word. I will see y'all next time. Bye.